Gary. And welcome to another episode of the Part of the Pride and Aston Villa Women podcast. As you can see, we've been joined by St. Gary, who will be blessing over proceedings for the evening. And I've just thought, Gary, even though there is a story behind this, they've also just chosen a new pope. So we're commemorating that as well.
Forgot about that, actually. I was told on my way home. The smoke is white.
The smoke is white. It is indeed. And for those who may not know why you are a nun this evening, would you like to fill everyone in?
We had a fancy dress at the away game there over the weekend, and I decided that since God was with me at the weekend, I would introduce God to the pod this evening, you know.
Introduce God to the pod. And of course, the fancy dress even made it to the commentary as well, which was fantastic. Who did win best costume? Did we ever find out?
Yes. It went joint to Tracy and Rob, who were dressed up as Russell and Carl from Up.
Yes,
that's incredible.
Some of the outfits were fantastic. Like, there was a real good standard, so it was a lot of fun.
It was fantastic. Well, you've made Nick very happy in the chat. She wasn't that you're wearing your habit, back in the habit, as it were, for the pod this evening. So if people aren't aware, the fan club now have made it a tradition, did it last season, and will continue to do so for the foreseeable. For every last away game of the season, it will be fancy dress. So if you do want to get involved, a lot of fun. There's loads of pictures online on the Facebook group. So do go check them out, because there were some fantastic ones, like Gary said. Emma, you weren't there for the fancy dress this weekend. What would you have dressed up as? Could you have beaten a nun?
Teletubby.
Good shout. Which one? This is a make or break friendship question.
The yellow one. Lala?
Fantastic. Lala. Yep. I had a doll of Lala when I was little, so yes. Good shout. Good shout indeed.
I'm not even sure I should have dressed up as a nun. I'm surprised I didn't spontaneously combust.
Well, like we said, there's a new pope now, so maybe his first order is to come and find you.
It's going to be like the Da Vinci Code, or they're going to send that other one, you know, the angel to get me.
I was going to say, we'll keep an eye out behind you tonight, Gary, just in case.
I'm on the 9th floor. If anybody gets in behind me, they're coming through a wall pretty high up, so I should be safe from behind.
And if they do manage to get through, fair play to them, you know.
Yeah, they deserve to get me if they manage that.
Nick has just said West Ham's social media team spent more time filming us than their own ones, because we were more fun. That's why. I do have to say, though, the singing came through so clearly on the stream. It was so good. Because let's get right into it. I trust you were both well. So yeah, it was. We were going in on a high, weren't we, after beating Arsenal, and then we thought, you know, the world is our oyster. Where can we go from here? Gary, what was the feeling like on the coach down in the lead up, like when you were waiting for the whistle to blow? What was that feeling like, being so confident?
Everybody was in really, really good form, you know. Even when we got down there, and, you know, obviously we certainly turned a few heads with everybody in their costumes, and
why? No.
But we actually went into the West Ham pub at the ground as well. So yeah, that certainly got a lot of attention before the game. But you know, it was just really, really good spirits. You know, everybody, whenever they were there, you know, singing away, and nice to go into a game with a real good feel. You know, a feel-good factor.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because this was 3 wins in a row. I can't remember the last time we had 3 wins in a row, to be honest. And considering how the season started, everyone was kind of like, we know we're so confident and we're feeling really happy, but do we dare? Do we dare to keep that up? Because as soon as the whistle blew, we'd scored within 5 minutes. So, Emma, what was that like for you watching? Because Ebony Salmon, assist by Rachel Daly, like this is what we've wanted and envisioned all season, right?
Yeah, so on Sunday I wasn't watching it live because I was at training, but I had I was keeping an eye on the scores, had the live score updates, and it came through, and I was like, no, sure, like,
yeah, it's
really?
delayed from last week.
Because I'm still like, yeah, I'm still like, although on a high, I'm still like, kind of living in a dream. Like, is this actually happening? But then once I kind of brought myself around and I was like, this is happening, I was like, okay, this is going to be either we're going to sit back and lose it, or it's going to be a goal fest. And I really wanted it to be a goal fest because I love watching them back when there's loads of goals.
Shit. I feel like Emily and Nick are having their own conversation in the chat here. Who put the ball in the West Ham net? Grant. We haven't got onto the third goal yet, guys. Calm down. We're just on goal number 1 because we scored multiple times. However, there was then a bit of a shift, Gary, wasn't there? Because then West Ham scored 2 goals further on from that. So, did you think at any point, did that hope ever leave? Or were you thinking, no, actually, we're in a position where we can actually come back from this?
Even being there, the girls were actually playing pretty well. We had chances, and I think even the 2-1 we still had a level of confidence. Yeah, I'm sure the heads maybe dipped a little going on, but we fell behind. But even like Arsenal were trying to make a comeback against us. Like whenever they got their 2 goals, it was sitting 4-2. After what they just done to Leon, I'm sure everybody was going, could this happen? But the girls held their nerve against Arsenal, got a 5th goal, and well, I think after doing something like that, it helped them against West Ham. So they held their nerve, and it really didn't take much longer to get the equaliser, So
yeah,
it was I think the whole squad's just sitting there with a nice level of confidence and belief in each other. Everybody's just really vibing off each other, and it's certainly a joy to watch right now.
Yeah, no, 100%. And looking at that lineup, we had a back 3: Parker, Patter, Moritz, and then Grant, Nobbs, Taylor, Pacheco, midfield. We know people like to do a bit of a runner down the wings, don't we? Missy Wilkins, very impressive that match, actually. And I like that she's got more confidence to have a shot now as well. I like really where she settled in.
Settle in and find her feet, I think, now.
Yeah, coming
She's really impressing me at the minute.
Because I think before, when she first came in, it was she was missed almost, like not in a bad way, but just wasn't standing out, wasn't that noticeable. But now she's now she's got that confidence, and suddenly you're like, Anne Kearns is in front of goal and she's had a shot from distance, she had a shot from range, and you just think, yeah, this is what we need. We need these multiple options, so we're not relying on 1 or 2 people as we have done previously, to get the ball in the back of the net.
But she's actually been in a really good form, from we had the win before the international break, and even whenever she went and played for the under-23s, I think she was player of the match in one of the games, and certainly competing for it in the second game. So she obviously has a level of confidence as well, no matter what shirt happens to be on her back, and it's nice just seeing that building within the squad.
Yeah, 100%. And we've often said throughout the season, it's how do we get that under-23s form into the WSL, and how can we support that change? Because the biggest thing was actually what Emily's just said there. Before the game, Kirsty was in a boot. So we were actually missing Kirsty after, she'd been super sub the past couple of games, came on and scored, and suddenly we were without one of these stars. Emma, were you ever worried at any point that we didn't have her?
Yeah,
again,
because she's just so good. Like, especially like, she's so, I don't want to say physical, but she has got that physicality. She's got that presence on the pitch. She's got that speed as well.
Yeah.
And I feel like having her and Ebony on the pitch at the same time is just like incredible, because both of them are like so fast. So yeah, I was like, oh, are we? Because she's been one of our main goal scorers as well. Like, and she likes to create chances. Like that Daly Hanson combo is good, but I'm also liking the Daly Salmon combo at the minute as well.
Yeah,
so yeah, there was a slight
work, isn't it? Yeah, good. And I think
it is. I'm really impressed with that.
Yeah, because we, when Arroyo first came in and we thought, okay, well, how is she going to pick up the pieces? What is Villa going to look like ultimately? And it's just another case and a proof that you need to trust the process. You need to trust where it's going. And when you see some good things starting to come, then it's gonna keep coming and keep making progress, because Arroyo, of course, has got Manager of the Month. It's been a while since we've had one of those, so congratulations to Natalia on that. We're up for, what was it, Goal of the Month as well, Player of the Month.
2 goals of the month.
And you think, yeah, I think, did Kirsty have 2?
Yeah, I would say Spurs and then Arsenal.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And you just think, this is the Villa we've been waiting for. They're finally coming into their own. Now let's talk a bit about. I'm going to come back to Emily's comment in a minute, because that was, funny enough, what I was going to say. So we had Emily Sabin open the scoring within 5 minutes, as we've mentioned. Martinez, it was a very good header, wasn't it? Straight past Sabs for 1-1. Now, the miscommunication for West Ham's second goal. So this is where the ball came in. Miscommunication between, was it Sabs and Lucy Parker? They crashed into each other. Oh, it was Patsy, wasn't it? Yes, of course, it was Patsy. They've crashed into each other, take Sabs out, and Rico Weki goes, open goal. Don't mind if I do. And puts the ball in the back of the net for 2-1. And then, funny enough, on the other side, in the 37th minute, it's then a Katrina Gorry error that leads to our second goal of the afternoon, isn't it? Because Gary actually being there and seeing that back pass go to the feet of Rachel Daly. What was that feeling like?
Well, firstly, I thought, what a beautiful pass.
Yes, and thank you so much to Katrina for doing that. Yeah.
But if there's any player that you don't want the ball to be at their feet 1-on-1 against the keeper, it's probably Rachel Daly.
Yeah.
And she punished them for it. And but West Ham, for all the 2 songs that they had, they went very, very quiet again. Could hardly hear them most of the match, but like whatever they just lost their lead. And it was approaching half time. You could already see people starting to slip out, for their half-time pie. And it's like, no, folks, it's still 8 minutes to go of the first half here,
Yeah, believe in your club, stay till the whistle. Yes, absolutely.
Definitely, it was a great pass from Gorey. And Rachel took full advantage.
Exactly. She got mixed up. She was like, we're all claret and blue here. We're all in the same team. It's all good. I did keep having to remind myself that we weren't in claret, because at the time I was doing a live watch along for the championship, but I had that on one of the multi-screens that I had. So then when the goal went in, I was like, oh, wrong team. Nope. wrong way. So that was of course 2-2. Now, half time, you think, right, 2-2, still all to play for. A goal is all it took, and it did. As soon as the second half started, I thought up until about 65 minutes, it continued that intensity. And Chastity's goal was obviously the moment that everyone in the chat is talking about, because West Ham tried to call it for offside, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Because she was down that wing. Obviously, she wasn't, of course.
No, it's just that fast they couldn't keep up.
Exactly. Exactly. So she bombs down the wing, gets in front of the West Ham defense, and shoots it. It was a really nice low shot, wasn't it, into the bottom corner for 3-2. But after that, though, it felt like, certainly watching it, that there seemed to have a bit of a loss of momentum. West Ham maybe took over a little bit, had a couple of shots, but nothing really too threatening. And then it just kind of fizzled out. Gary, did it feel the same in the stadium as well?
Yes, in fact, there was a little bit of frustration in the stadium whenever they kept playing the ball back and playing at a really slow tempo across the back line. Because obviously, like last week against Arsenal and stuff like that, it was quick long balls and splitting the defence and going all out and getting those 5 goals. Whereas this week it was like we all of a sudden just stopped. We took the 3-2 lead and just tried to sit on it, and it's like, there's still like half an hour of this game left. Do we really want to be?
Well, that's the thing.
Doing this. This is a bit early. This is a bit scary.
Like the last 5 minutes or so, you can kind of, it's still frustrating, but you can kind of understand it when it's just literally seeing the game out. But especially against West Ham, who we saw what they did to Crystal Palace. We saw what they can do to other teams and who they've taken points from this season as well. And Emma, I'm going to come to you this one first. Emily's saying, think the West Ham game was the worst performance-wise out of the 4 wins. A bit like what Gary was saying, when Barrett's trying to play out from the back, West Ham was speedy, all over it, too much faffing about again. Do you agree that really wasn't our best performance?
Yeah, because I feel like we just went back to the normal. I don't want to say same old Villa, because obviously it wasn't the same old Villa. We still managed to win. But we had like our normal defence back. And I feel like especially with Arsenal, what made us attacking, what made us keep pushing was we'd got Miri playing as the centre-back for a start, who isn't a centre-back. Yes, so I feel like we were trying to take less risks by playing out from the back with Arsenal, because could you imagine how Miri would have felt if she'd have conceded a stupid goal? Like, it wouldn't have been fair. So I feel like because we had our normal defence back, we went back to the drawing board and picked the same tactics, which obviously didn't work, because we should have known that West Ham have all of a sudden decided that they can play football. So maybe that wasn't the best idea and the best tactic to have had, but that's the only change that's kind of making me think that that's why we went back to it, because nothing else really changed within the rest of the team sheet. It was mainly we'd got the defence back that we didn't have on the Wednesday.
Okay, interesting. Gary, what do you think? What do you think might have changed tactics-wise? Or maybe just mentality-wise?
This is it. I don't understand. Emma might have a point that it was whenever I went back to what many people would deem our strongest back line. Maybe they have confidence that they can keep the ball out of the net, but the 2/3 of the season would say that as good as the play and as important as Lucy Parker and all been all season, we're not very good at keeping the ball out of the back of the net. We'll try. The effort's there, but
we try. 10 out of 10 for effort. Yeah.
But yeah, like to me, it wasn't the best move to make. It was almost inviting West Ham onto us, and they've done as much damage against Arsenal as we have. So it's kind of like really, really need to be careful here. Martinez has scored 10 goals and only bloody well joined West Ham in January. So, the fact that she's competing for the Golden Boot, and she's played half the season, shows just how dangerous she is. So why would you invite her on to you?
Well, that's the thing. As soon as she scored her first goal, I was a bit worried. I was like, oh, she's going to get another hat trick. Is she going to get another 4? Yeah, Emily agrees with you. Because against, and we've all said this, against the bigger teams, we do play differently because there's a pressure there. And you think West Ham should still be a pressure environment because they're still good. They can still win. Nick saying, I actually missed Murray in defence. Parker and Patsy were not convincing this week. Yeah. And again, do we think that's a bit not complacency, but Gary, a bit like what you said about, we can keep the ball out. Yeah, we're tight at the back. We know what we're doing. Do you think it's a bit of like misplaced confidence almost with some teams?
I think so. They are a good pairing. But like the season that we have had, because we give other teams so many chances, it's inevitable they're going to score.
We've conceded 43 goals this season. 43. However,
poor Sabs hasn't had a single clean sheet. Even in the games that we're winning, Sabs hasn't had a single clean sheet.
Yeah.
He's had 2, which is really sad.
And
I feel like they were probably 0-0s.
No, one of them was probably the cup match that we won 9-0.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Are we including cup matches as well? And that's the thing because it's the same question with Arsenal currently facing at the minute. There's a lot of hate on their goalkeeper, bless her. But then it's not all the goalkeeper, it's a defence. You've got to get through the whole team before you get to the goalie, etc. So then it's a question of, okay, well, there's clearly an issue there if there hasn't been a clean sheet. So what can we do to improve that? Is it just a communication thing? Or, what is it? Because let's fix it, because we can't be, we were known for being really solid, weren't we, at the back?
But a good way to fix it was stop slowing down the tempo and playing stupid football across your back line.
That too.
Because that's like the amount of goals that we have conceded that way this season is unreal. Of the 43 goals that we have conceded, 23 of them are probably conceded from the defence doing something stupid. Because you could be solid for 89 minutes, but you do something wrong in those 9 minutes, and that's where you lose a game.
Yeah, 100%. Emily saying the Murray's skills are well suited to centre back. She's quick as well to cover. Yeah, I really liked her in that role. So maybe she's almost proven to Natalia she can be that cover and maybe that extra person in defence. Because I think sometimes as well in midfield, it didn't seem to click as much, did it? But she slotted in really well in defence. So maybe that can be.
Mary's fantastic against Arsenal last week. In the back line, she really was solid.
Yeah, she was 100%.
Yeah. I was really worried seeing her playing as a centre back, because I was like, she's not a centre back. Surely we're not trying to mould players when we're playing Arsenal, but she really impressed me. Really impressed me.
That's the thing, it's such a vital position as well, isn't it? To kind of fill in for. But yeah, she's got the right skills. So hopefully it's not the last time we see her there. So yeah, it died down, it fizzled out, and Vivian C had a shot from distance, but apart from that, there wasn't really much to it. And if we look at stats wise, we pretty much had 60% to 40 for possession. We had 12 shots compared to their 9, 5 on target compared to their 4. So really, there was nothing much in it. 2 goalkeeper saves each. Quite a lot of fouls. Because it was getting to be quite a dirty match, wasn't it? Yellow cards were flying.
I have no idea how somebody didn't get sent off.
I know.
This is why Taylor was taken off at halftime, because she probably would have been sent off.
Yeah, she probably would, shouldn't she? Because if we look at, I think I started talking about lineups, then got distracted. Yeah, so at halftime, Miri went off, and so did Jordan, replaced for Jill and Kate Robinson. And then we saw Dan Turner come on for Lucy Parker, who again had a yellow card. And Rachel Maltby again getting more minutes for Maz in the 66 minutes. So again, it shows that we're actually using our youth now, which is fantastic, and actually trusting them with more than the last 5 minutes, because this was quite a high pressure 3-2. You need to be on it, because that could ultimately be a loss.
As she was on it, Multi actually had a real solid half an hour. And she even caused a few problems for West Ham, even coming up in the more attacking role as well. And I was like, it's nice to see that she had the confidence as well, but defensively she was solid and certainly wasn't afraid to make her presence being felt. Definitely has a bright future.
She's really
yeah, really bright future. Yeah, I agree. Was it this game that she slid the ball through to Kate Robinson and she almost got a goal there? Yeah. I remember being really impressed with that.
And that's after she beat the previous player twice to create the space to get the ball up to Katie Robinson.
Yeah.
Katie Robinson just needs to have that level of confidence. She was afraid to take a shot herself. And she had not quite an open goal, but there wasn't much in front of her. And instead of taking a pop at goal herself, she waited until somebody else came up. She played it into the centre again, and by this stint, the West Ham back line to got back into place, and the chance was gone basically. And it's like, have a bit of confidence, Katie. Just give it a go. We're 3-2 up. What harm can you actually do?
Well, that's the thing. Have a goal.
Yeah.
Literally have a goal. And then you'll know for certain if it's going to go in the back of the net or not. Emily's saying, can see a huge improvement in Sabs now that she's free of the mask. Still think it's poor in a situation where we felt like we had to play her at all times and not let her rest and recover. Need investment in a solid number 2 for next season. Yes. Spoke about that before, haven't we? Because as much as, we've got Caitlin Talbot and, we did have Sophia Pura, but she's gone on loan, and you can almost see, maybe London City will try and get her full time because they've got the money to throw about, haven't they?
Well, we shouldn't have let Pura go. She hasn't had minutes at London.
Yeah, she meant to sit on the bench. That was a bit stupid.
All right. Don't hold back. You and me. If we get cancelled, everyone, and we're never on again, it's because Emma's annoyed Michelle Kang.
I've definitely done worse when we have been cancelled, so we'll be all right.
Is it?
I just don't understand why we sent her there when she didn't play. It was a waste of her time, really, and everyone else's.
I can see you've got some strong thoughts about this. Okay. A can of worms I've opened here. But yeah, no, she was our reliable goalkeeper that, although, yes, young, she proved herself, didn't she, in the first team? So
she's got confidence.
Yeah, she's confident. She proved herself, and ultimately, if we can get her back, that's fantastic. If not, we do need a solid number 2 that hopefully we can rotate, give people rest, so everyone's 100% ready for whatever next season throws at them. And as Emily says, we need to get Maltby in the senior team full time next year. However, exactly what I was thinking, Sophie, she's probably getting paid a lot more to sit on London City's bench than ours, which is a very good point, especially, again, if you're young and you're getting that money thrown at you. Why not?
It's unlikely she's getting paid more sitting on their bench because she has the contract with Aston Villa, so I can't see her wages change.
Yeah, but if you met Michelle Kang, she does what she wants.
Pay more than a biscuit and a Frodo.
Exactly. I mean, our currency is, chocolate, so that's it. That's it in a 50p.
Hey, when Cadbury's is on your doorstep, you don't knock it.
That's true. Just like bags of misshapes coming in, like, we can offer you these. Please come to Birmingham. Please play for us. That's a good point. Yes, we don't want Maltby to go on loan at all. We want to keep
we need to
keep our youth and play them. And hopefully Arroyo's showing that that's what she does want to do. She doesn't want to let them go, unless it's for very, very good reasons. But yeah, I can't see Well, hopefully I can't see it happening like that.
Yeah, because it's only really been since we had Natalia that we had youngsters on the bench. We didn't have any youngsters on the bench before, did we?
So we had, they started to come through under Carla, but didn't get that many minutes.
Oh yeah, but then I feel like they vanished when we had
at all. And then brought back in under Natalia as well. Yeah. So yeah, it's a way forward, isn't it? It's a stepping stone to come through. And again, that progress. I do have to say though, after our win, we're up in 9th. We have surpassed 20 points. We are on 22. And who do we think we are, winning 4 games in a row? And fun stat, this was our 4th win in a row away against West Ham. So there we go. So clearly, we're just meant to win this match, as always. So yeah, we're now in 9th, we're on 22 points. Spurs are below us on 19, Leicester are on 17, and of course, Crystal Palace are relegated on 10 points. However, we are only 1 point behind Everton and West Ham, and only 2 points behind Liverpool and Brighton. So suddenly, the team that were convinced they were going to be relegated are now up there in and amongst it in this middle of the table. We worked out if all of the other scores go our way, we could still finish in 6th. This is how mad this league is.
Could you imagine that?
I mean, that would be incredible. I mean, Gary, did you ever think we were going to get off that almost relegation spot?
No.
Because it looked quite bleak, didn't it? At one point.
The way the season was going, it was really, really looking bleak. You know, we were genuinely concerned whenever we were 1 point ahead of Palace that we were in real danger of going down, especially because Palace had started to find a wee bit of form themselves. But to be sitting here like 6 weeks later, it's like, hi, you know. But where did this team come from? You know, could they have not done this all season, and you know, maybe Chelsea wouldn't have won the league again?
Could you imagine Chelsea and Villa at the top of the table? That'd be incredible. I do have to say, though, it just shows you what investment can do, because you've got Chelsea on 57 points, Arsenal on 45, United on 44, City on 40. So they're all hitting the 40s and the 50 points. It then drops down to Brighton on 25, Liverpool 25, West Ham 23, Everton 23, us on 22, 19, 17, 10. So you've got the top 4, you've got the middle lot, and then the 2 at the bottom. And you just think, that surely that's a sign to clubs that more needs to be done, right? Has anyone got any thoughts on that? Because it can't continue the way it is, can it?
Well, surely London City winning the league just purely shows what investment can do, because the amount of players that Michelle Kang signed, like big names, and just pure talent as well. She didn't just sign big names. She wasn't Taya Goldie there on loan.
Yeah.
Like, she got a few youngsters and like a few young talents. So that just shows that investment within the women's game gets you somewhere. And even if they didn't get promoted and they finished 2nd, that again still shows that they're a challenging club. Like, they're coming into the WSL with some money behind them and some investment behind them and a goal. You know what I mean? Like,
can you imagine though? Like, London City, to put it in perspective, you managed to get Aslani to come from Milan to Kent. You got Sophia Jakobsen, Swedish international, to come to Kent. Like, how she managed to attract these huge names, slightly on the older end of the football playing age range, shall we say. So clearly it was a short-term fix to show that it can be done. The money was worth it for the short term to get promoted. However, she is a very good businesswoman, isn't she? That's why she's got so much money. So genuinely, I think she's now looking in this summer for bigger names, bigger talent, probably in that younger, like, peak of their talent range. to go for Chelsea. Why not? Because Nick's in there. Will it be London City challenging Chelsea? Probably, because
Could you imagine?
she's an independent. She can put as much money in as she wants. So yeah, I mean, there's pros and cons. I mean, there's been memes everywhere about it, and whether she's too involved and whether it's too much on her. But yeah, Sophie said she brought Saki Kumagai in as well. You know, these massive names of the game, and she brought them into the Women's Championship, where really you've got a couple of internationals, but not really like household names. But she managed it, so.
Over your personal fortunes, 4 billion, and you can invest whatever you want into your club. You know, you're probably waving some pretty big carrots.
Just imagine I literally just waving a carrot from a helicopter, like, come with me. I'll show you new pastures. Go on. Yeah, but I mean, the fact that they've moved to a new ground, they've got, new facilities. She's doing all the right things in a certain sense, isn't she? She's building this club, and they've only been around for 6 years. 6. That's it. So they're relatively new. So I think as much as other clubs, because obviously we've got the fair allowance and stuff and things, haven't we? The percentage of the income that we can spend, and so I don't know how that works for an independent. Don't quote me on anything. But yeah, I think it's just a warning sign to all of the clubs. Look what can happen when you put money into your women's team, and they're not just there as a tick box. Because it does. It makes all the difference, doesn't it?
Especially a club like Villa, who have just had Champions League football and want to try and build their global name.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, do you realise how many people on the globe are women? Do you know how good it would be if you actually built a women's team that, is going to increase your revenue? Because, empowering women's only going to be a good thing for you. And, right now you're treating them like second-class citizens, and it's like, behave yourself.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And it's very much, if you are serious about having a women's team, do it properly. Just properly do it, properly invest. And it's the people who are saying, oh, well, I'm not going to get me money back for however long. And it's like, yeah, but you can't then not put money in, because you need to spend money to make it, which is the cliche we all know. But yeah, if people are scared to put that money in, then just don't have a women's team. If you're not going to treat them right, just seriously don't. Like, we'll get someone else. But yeah, it's hard. But we need the right people in charge, don't we? Because now we've got more jobs at the club coming up. And hopefully we get some people in who are really passionate about women's football to lead us in the right direction.
It's even if you look at Man United, the way Ratcliffe's been behind the scenes trying to save money left, right, and centre, where he's, you're hearing these change in the menus and the restaurant and everything, and making meal portions smaller, and taking away £100 Christmas bonuses for sort of Joe Vlogs in the cafeteria. But then you take a look at some of the players that they have sitting on the bench that are doing absolutely nothing. Like, if they got rid of Casemiro and saved themselves £400,000 a week on wages, that actually would have kept all the other things for the other people. So it's kind of like, whenever you're talking about you have to have the right owners that are going to do the right things, they're clearly looking in the wrong places for where they're trying to reduce their overheads.
Yeah.
And if you're going to invest properly, because the women could bring them a lot more money in if they actually done it right.
Yes.
And that's what we're trying to sort of say the Aston Villa, and it's what you can see with what's happening in London City. As much as we joke about Kang's ego and the way she kind of does things of her own accord, she has still empowered a whole group of women to more or less take over the championship, and they're coming up to do the WSL, and they're not going to be here to make up the numbers.
No, exactly. Yeah. And as Emily's putting there, think clubs, including Villa, need to be locking players in, or Gang will be shopping. Yeah, I mean,
Get them on a free as well.
just what? Sorry.
There'll be no need to spend. Should we just getting them for free at this point?
Well, that's the thing with, we in particular, and we're gonna just mention it again. We've got so many players out of contract that hopefully, and people heard whisperings on the open training session about whether people are, going to be signing or they're still waiting or what's going to happen. But just to confirm, then, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got 9 players out of contract this summer, and bearing in mind most contracts go to June, don't they, before the window opens, so we haven't got long. So we've got Rachel Corsie, Rachel Daly, Dan Turner, Jordan Nobbs, Lucy Stan, Sarah Mailing, Kirsty Hansen, Maz Pacheco, and Lucy Parker all out of contract. Kirsty and Lucy Parker do have the option to extend by a year, so they can still be triggered. I assume they will, because I can't see them going or leaving unless they want to. But hopefully the club will do that. But as for the others, I don't want any of them to go. However, we've got the issue of we've now got an aging squad. And as the commentator rightly reminded us, as they do all of the time, we've got the oldest average age squad in the WSL. So do we think we might be letting a few faces go this summer if the ambition is to ultimately get higher and bring more people in? Has anyone got any thoughts?
I think some of the older players are probably going to make the decisions themselves. Whenever you consider Corsie and Stanleyford have both really struggled with injury this season. Corsie's already doing a lot of punditry and stuff like that because of her injuries, and she might take herself in a different direction. It'll be sad to see her go because we know what a positive impact she has on the dressing room.
Yeah.
But I don't think Corsie's going to be around much longer, especially whenever she has people like Lucy Parker to compete with now, because Corsie's been a fantastic servant to the club, but I think the youth is going to take over there. Stanleyford, I think, is still a bit early. She's still only, 32, 33. Same with Rachel. You probably have an easy good 2 years with them still, and the same with Nobbs. They can all still do a job. And we do need to have the balance of experience and youth. It does make me wonder, I don't want to see Maz go. No. But if we consider how Rachel Maltby's coming through, and we'll have Paula, that'll be 3 left backs. Unless one of them can switch to the right and sort of be backing up Sarah. Because I know obviously Moritz is meant to be more of a right back, but she seems to become a more and more centre. And probably doing a better job at centre back than what she was doing out in the right.
But unless we then use more wing backs, unless we, kind of try and change the style a bit to fit the players, but it's going to be what Natalia envisions, isn't it? I really don't want Maz to go, but it's how she's going to be used, isn't it? Hello, sorry, the dog just come in. Now Sophie just put, I've heard a rumour that Danielle Vanderdonk and Ellie Carpenter are looking for a package move away from Leon. Do you reckon they'll suit Claret and Blue? Wouldn't that be a package deal?
Claret and Blue looks good in anyone.
That is true.
Oh, I'd love that. I really would. This is about the time now where the rumours start flying, isn't it?
Well, even Barcelona are trying to edge on Claret and Blue themselves, so we'll just take half their squad.
Emily spoke. It'd be interesting in a few years' time if London City came up against Lyon in the Champions League. Imagine if London City, they've got promoted this season, and they're getting Champions League next season.
Could you imagine? I mean,
I'm here for it, but that'd be absolutely mad.
Yeah.
Absolutely mad. And yeah, Emily saying be interesting. See if we look to find players that can fit the wing back system better. Yeah, it's all to play for, isn't it?
The wing back system seems
well,
to
Lizzie Brown's only 23. We think we can get her from Chelsea.
You can't afford Lucy Bronze. What are you talking about?
No, she's also not 23, but she plays like it.
She
Could you
plays like
imagine
it.
if we signed Lucy Bronze?
She plays. I think quite a few of us
Yes.
would die. I think if that happened. Because of course clubs are starting to announce players that are leaving. So I know Arsenal have announced Lena Hertig, Amanda Ilstedt, and Tia Goldie. They've all gone.
We'll probably get them.
We'll probably get
We
what?
love getting Arsenal rejects. We love getting Arsenal rejects. So we'll probably get all three.
Imagine. We've also got Liverpool. Tegan Micah is leaving. She would be a fantastic goalie to have. I'd love Tegan Micah. So yeah, there's people coming, starting to become available. So we'll see when Natalia is going to be shopping. What was that? Sorry.
Poppy Patterson from Brighton. There's a few from Brighton, but I can't remember who they are.
Yeah, there's 5 from Brighton. I can tell you. Hang on. Poppy Patterson, Maria Thorisdottir, Guro Bergsvand, Diana Stefanovic, and Pauline Bremer as well from Brighton. And we've also had from Liverpool, so said Tegan Micah. We've also had Jazz Matthews and Yana Daniels as well, who've also gone.
Don't fancy letting Olivia Smith go, do they now?
Funnily enough, no. Didn't they give her a really long contract?
I think so. You can kind of understand
why. I know. You never let it go. I agree with Danny. Ashley Weirden. That would be a good player to try and sign. Obviously for Palace, but is she now too good for the Championship? Would she be better being signed by one of the WSL clubs? Can play wing back, has a good connection with Grant, of course. The Dutch connection there. Yes, I would love that. Absolutely not. You're not having her. Also, she's not ours. She's on loan. So we'd have to sign her first permanently for that one. Yeah, no, I would die if Hertig came to Villa. That would be perfect. But unfortunately, she's been plagued by injury. So you feel sorry for these players because when they've been at their peak and you know what they can do, and then just unfortunately injury after injury just burdens them, and they just can't get back to where they were. So yeah, it's a sad moment. But you just want people to find a club where they're taken care of and where they can thrive. And speaking of players leaving clubs, do you want some live breaking news?
Oh, who's leaving Villa?
Oh no, it's not Villa. 6 players are leaving Portsmouth. 6 players leaving Portsmouth. Nicole Barrett, Erin McLaughlin, Daisy McLaughlin, Annie Rolfe, Ella Humphrey, and Scarlett Williams are all departing.
Are they not getting relegated though?
That's also a very good point. And also, Amy Goddard has left Sunderland as well. So yes, lots of Championship teams now announcing. Libby Smith from Birmingham City has announced she's leaving too. So yeah, lots and lots of people are on a free. So it'll be interesting to see where they go. Emily saying would like to see Jill stay another year on loan, just like Patsy did before signing it. Yep, I'll be happy with that. In the best possible way, I don't think Jill's going to get into the Bayern team as it is. They've got too many big names over there that are their proper starting 11, and there's not much change usually. So yeah, I'd love to have a full time. That would make us very happy, wouldn't it, to keep our Jill? Our Jill, we'll keep her. Now then, So just to put it again, we are now in ninth. We are now in ninth place with 22 points. So the last thing then, we've got one more game. I don't know where the season's gone at all, but we face Brighton on Saturday at home. Saturday, not Sunday, everyone, just in case you sit down on Sunday and you think, where's the football? So yes, it's an early kickoff. Now, before we go on, Danny's saying, any thoughts on Fiamma Benitez being at the open training, or was she purely visiting Paula? Well, players for Valencia, and Valencia, bless them, are currently getting relegated. So maybe. Maybe. But yeah, I think that might have been a Paula visit, right? If it's to an open training session.
Possibly,
Maybe.
but we wouldn't say.
Makes sense.
I think you both said the same thing at the same time, and it was.
I think the general gist is maybe it was just a Paula visit, but we wouldn't say no.
You know what? I haven't actually looked at her stats, so I just could be saying anything here. So pressure footballer, she's a midfielder. She's 20, so again that would be building for the future. Currently plays for Valencia. Yeah, she does want to get. Well, she won't want to get relegated, will she? So looking for a move around. Have we got any stats? Let's have a look at FootMob. Riveting stuff here, everyone. Live stat reporting. Okay. Out of 27 matches, she started 20 and she's got 3 goals and 6 assists. And she's got a 7.1 rating, which is green on FootMob. So, hey, yeah, stats don't lie.
But for a team that's being relegated, clearly scoring goals wasn't high. So the fact that she still has a rating of over 7 sort of says what her performances were like, regardless of how the club was doing.
I can tell you goals for. So Valencia have scored 21 goals this season. And then, so she was a little part of that. So yeah. I mean, they're not far off. So there's 2 relegation spots in Liga F, Liga F, shall we say? Valencia on 21, Real Betis 23, Deportivo 26. So it's not a massive gap.
It's a fairly large part. If they've only scored 21 goals and she scored 3 and created 6, 9 of those 21 goals she was involved in. That's not too shabby.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah, that's almost half.
Hey, if the rumours are true, then we'll definitely take her. She won the Nations League with Spain as well. So if you're saying, I don't know if she was she part of the team. Let's check. We don't want to give out enough information on the pod, of course. She is still down for Atletico Madrid, though, so that's a bit weird. But no, she does play for Valencia. Yep, Spanish women's national team. Let's have a look. Since 2022, she has made 9 appearances and 2 goals for the national team. So there you go. So she's got international experience as well. So yeah, if the rumours are true, that sounds good to me. But as Emily says, we need to strengthen in defence first before anywhere else.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
How about this? Natalia should have been nominated for Manager of the Year. What do we think?
Do you know what? She's turned the team around. So
She has.
She's probably done one. Like, yes, she's not had results all season, but she's managed to turn the team around.
But
I think
also, wasn't there all season?
Yeah, that's true.
So really, if we take it on like the games she's been in charge of, rather than the whole season, because arguably, take the percentage, because arguably she has done a very, very good job, hasn't she?
But then there's Everton's new manager and West Ham's new manager. They've done similar and turned their fortunes around too.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. Yeah. And I'm just looking now. So if people weren't aware, the nominations for the Women's Professional Game Awards. The shortlists are out and you can vote. But voting closes midday tomorrow. It only came out yesterday, so it's only a short window. So if you do want to vote, then you can see those on the Barclays WSL page. And it's for Super League and Championship. For Player of the Season and Goal of the Season, you can vote for at the moment. But yeah, so Arroyo got Manager of the Month. Shakira Martinez got Player of the Month, of course, for April. And I'm just trying to have a look.
That's because to split the Villa vote.
I know. That's the thing. We're hardly nominated for anything. Oh, we are nominated for, is it Matchday Experience, Fan Experience?
Oh, yeah. I don't know how we've managed
One of these things that no one's really talked about. Which is a mad thing. And before we forget, we were asked a question, and then we will talk about Brighton in a minute. This was a question on Twitter, so thank you very much, from AVWFC Lionesses, who interacts with us quite a lot, so we do appreciate it. And the question was, let me get it word for word. Bear with everyone. Would love to know your thoughts on the end of season awards events. This is just Villa's. No promotion whatsoever from Aston Villa women. The event is 11 days after the women's season ends, so unlikely many players will actually be there, probably on holiday, etc. The price per ticket and only 2 weeks' notice given. Now, first of all, have either of you two seen anything about this? The awards night? Yeah. Emma, have you seen anything?
No.
Right. Okay, so this, I just saw it in passing, and then I had a look. So Gary, did you happen to see the prices?
Yeah, it's something like 470 or 480 pound a ticket. It's like it's
What?
ridiculous.
A ticket. Now, the fan club were going to go to this last season. Do you remember? It was an evening with Carla Ward, wasn't it?
It was an evening with Carla Ward last season. I bought my ticket for that, and it was 150 quid a ticket. Now, we had filled the table of 10 for that, but then obviously it cancelled with everything that was going on.
Yeah.
But this, nearly 500 quid for a ticket, is like, are you bonkers?
So this one,
I could go to Spain.
I was going to say you'd be all inclusive halfway across the world for that. So yeah, so it's on a Wednesday night as well. So it's the end of season awards dinner. Tables and individual packages are available in the lower grounds. And it's for Aston Villa management, players for the men's and women's first team, as well as the academy as well. They're going to be celebrating the highlights of the season, presenting awards, and it's all part of the club's 150th anniversary celebrations as well. And there's a bit about everything. So essentially, when you click on secure your seat, you get a couple of options, of course. Now, the end of season awards dinner is now open, and to get an individual ticket on a shared table is £474. Now, for that, you would expect a lot more than a drink on arrival and a 3-course meal. I know it's a celebration event, but the question was, do you get the impression that A, the club don't care about the women's team fans, but also that they've priced out a lot of people who would usually want to go and celebrate their club at the end of the season? Emma, what do you think?
They've definitely priced out everyone because, as I said, I could go to Spain. I could go to Spain for less than that, and I did go to Spain for less than that a few weeks ago. Yeah. So, it is definitely giving the impression of we're not we don't really care about the women's fans, but we also are just going to set these prices because we don't, as long as we're getting the money, we don't really care. Like in general, because I'm not convinced that some of the men's fans would pay that much to go and sit at a table for the evening.
Now, when you think about, I mean, the women's season tickets are only a fraction of the men. If you're a men's season ticket holder, you've paid all that money for that, and then you're expected to pay another 500 pretty much to then go to this night. Gary, what kind of feeling does that have? Or is it ultimately it's a corporate event, so you pay corporate prices? What do you think?
Largely, it's being aimed at corporate. No, it's completely corporate because, like, for the average working man, you wouldn't even, want to go out on a Wednesday night. You know what I mean? Like, if it's me, I'm working away all week. There's no chance that I, even if I had the money to make that sort of commitment and spend like 500 quid, go and hire a tux and everything else because it's going to be black tie.
Yeah.
You take in all of this, that it's obviously aimed at corporate because knowing my luck, I'd buy a ticket, I'd rent a tux, and then I'd probably actually spend my evening in a hotel in Southampton or something like that because of the way my work is.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm just looking. You can get a gold package hospitality box for Guns N' Roses for less money. So
no,
yeah, you can go in the gold lounge for Guns N' Roses for 430. So I mean,
what?
Where are you going to go? Guns N' Roses, end of season.
I was going to do that for Oasis.
Oh, yes.
But everybody else that was talking to me about getting tickets to go and see Oasis are like, we're not willing to spend that money. And I'm like, but the average tickets ended up going for the best part of 400 quid anyway. Well, what's another 50 quid to go VIP and you actually have guaranteed?
Well, that's the thing. It just comes like Monopoly money at some point.
Yeah.
Like, put another 50 quid in. Why not? And just in case anyone does want the gold package, you get pre-show access to an exclusive hospitality lounge, inclusive drink packages, reserve padded seats in the Trinity Road stand, and arrival drinks reception, and informal grazing food offered. So there you go.
You get more for that than what you do at the corporate event.
It is, yeah. 100%. Right. So we're all going to Guns N' Roses, yeah, for the evening. Just reading the comments. Thank you for everyone in the chat getting involved. Nick's put, they've not only priced out, but made it not accessible for parents, workers, definitely catering to a certain clientele. Yep. For that price, I'd expect open bar, canapes, at least a 3-course meal by a kind of fancy chef, and some kind of memento, yes, to celebrate the occasion. Good. And Emily's put, there's a lot of feeling that the club puts more emphasis on the hospitality side of it and the making the money out of it, rather than being able to appreciate and make it accessible to those long-serving fans of the club as well.
The fact is, spending that sort of money, as somebody said, you expect it to be a fancy chef. If I was spending 500 quid in a 3-course meal, I'd be expecting Gordon Ramsay to come out and tell me to fuck off.
You pay for the experience, that's what it is.
I'd pay that for that. But like 500 quid for a corporate event, but it's probably not even a chef that's actually cooked it. It's probably been made in a restaurant in an industrial estate half a mile away and just being brought in containers.
Yeah. It's just, it's an investment, that amount of money. And you think, if you're not going to get much back, why waste your money? So it's just disappointing, I think.
Might have to. Artist is £400 for a day. Said, I'd just go and get myself more ink.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Yeah. And while we're on about strange money making marketing things, have we all seen the new Pride shirt that Villa what on earth is that? So I'm just laughing at Nick. Informal
Awful.
grazing. Are they supplying a trough? Just everyone in their suits, just in one communal trough. Yeah, no. So for those people who haven't seen it, it's meant to be like a pride shirt, but it's like it's meant to be inspired by what 90s R&B and dance and music culture and yeah, no.
I grew up through that culture, and not at any stage did I see anybody that was wearing a shirt like that. Now, there may have been people that were taking things that made them see shirts like that, but I would never indulge in such things, so I've absolutely no idea.
Well, you're a holy man, aren't you?
Exactly.
So you wouldn't do such things. I do have to say it is quite migraine-inducing to look at it. But for those who haven't seen it, please go look at it. And I do apologise, but it's like a snake skin effect with like some strange rainbow colours that aren't really rainbow, and it's just a bit of a letdown, really.
Pink and green.
Yeah, lots of pinks, lots of greens, lots of just bizarre. Not really.
The Beatles song "Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds" just came to mind straight away, you know, because that's clearly what they were singing whenever they were trying to design that shirt.
Oh well, we've just offended Nick. I like the pride shirt. No, Nick.
No, you don't, Nick. No, you don't.
Emily said I need to see it in person. I mean, maybe it's got a certain allure in person. But apparently it's going to be worn by the women's team in their pre-match warm-up at the weekend. So people going to the match, you can all let us know how it actually looks in person. If it looks as awful. And they want 50 quid for it. No. No, thank you indeed. So when I saw it come up like pride shirt, I was like, oh, brilliant. And saw it and I was like, no. I'll save my money for the next time they try. And hopefully they get
the one that happened earlier on in the season, you know, the white one that they brought out.
Oh, yeah, the white and purpley one. Yeah.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, that was really nice.
God only knows who designed that. Stevie Wonder.
Oh, Gary. And an interesting one as well, the fact that only mentioned that the women's team were going to be wearing it as well and not the men's. So again, could that be stirring up? I mean, we don't want to get into it, but ultimately we need to respect everyone, regardless of their thoughts and opinions. But surely it's just a sign of acceptance.
I did see like a promotion on social media where it was a male player and a female player wearing the shirt.
Yes.
Now, whether that means the men are going to wear it ahead of their game, I don't know, but they're certainly using the male players as advertising anyway.
Yeah. I think it was just in the actual release they only mentioned the women and not the men. So I mean, we'll see. We don't know either way. So hopefully it's this shirt is here. Would love for you to wear it and kind of show your acceptance, that kind of thing. Which hopefully they will. We know some people won't for various reasons, but even if only a couple do, then it's still something, isn't it? Now. Apologies if you can hear scratching. The dog has decided to scratch right next to me. So it's probably getting picked up really loudly in our microphone. So I do apologise. So last couple of things of the season. Ooh, look at me. Of the pod then. Back to Brighton. We started and then we went and derailed. Up against Brighton, who are 5th. And they've also had a bit of they started really strong, didn't they, Brighton? And then they kind of tailed off a little bit, but still quietly getting the job done. Again, we saw what they did to Arsenal. And I saw someone say, is this going to be the battle of who humbled Arsenal the most? Now, not to get away with that, carried away with ourselves, of course. But we've got as good a chance as any to finish the season on a high, haven't we? Emma, what do you think about the upcoming match?
Well, they put 4 past Arsenal, so but
they did.
Definitely a point. I don't see why we can't do 3 if we stop passing it along the back line.
Yeah, no, we can't do
If
that.
anyone from the Villa is watching this, pinball across the back line near the goal, because that scares me. There we go.
The flipping ball. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. We need to remember that this is a top 5 team. It's not just anyone we can kind of be quite calm and laissez-faire about. We need to really go for it. Gary, what are your thoughts ahead of the weekend?
My thoughts are, you're saying there that they're a top 5 team, and that we can't take it easy. We can't invite them onto us. There's not a single team in the division that we could let invite onto us. Leicester made us pay and everything else as well. It's just the way the seasons actually went. We can't underestimate a single person, but ultimately, we've also showed in recent weeks that they can't underestimate us either.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, I think we're both going to be in a situation where we're figuring each other out, maybe that first 10, 15 minutes, and then be able to really go for it and end the season on a high. Emily's saying, as long as no one gets sent off, I'm happy. Yes, we do have a bit of a history with red cards, don't we, in these matches? Maybe Poppy Patterson will just get another red for all time's sake. In that one.
Nice leaving present.
Yeah. Off you pop. Here's a red. There you go. However, what do we think about this? Nick saying, I think Brighton will be lacking team mentality because departures have already been announced before the end of the season. Maybe we can utilise it. Yeah, do we think we can maybe...
I think that's a fair point. No, there might be a little bit where they might want to send somebody like Poppy Patterson off on a high, because she has been a good servant to the club as such, but the way we have been playing and how together the girls appear to be right now, like every time we score, Natalia's high-fiving everybody, it's the most action Caitlin's gloves I've seen all season. And it's just sort of like, it's nice seeing how supportive all the girls are being to each other, the joy in the club, the togetherness, the team spirit, which is obviously what Nick's talking about. That maybe Brighton are going to lose a bit of that because they already know that there's so many players already 1 foot out the door. But,
Maybe. Or the opposite, they're thinking, right, maybe things have happened the way we don't want them to, so we're going to come out fighting. And on the high after Arsenal as well.
Well,
so it's going to be...
We're both on our highs, and we could put Liverpool and Arsenal on our scalp. But we've done well in recent weeks. Both teams know that they're safe. And I just genuinely hope the girls go out and have a bit of fun.
Yeah, and that's you can see the relief, can't you? As soon as we were safe, it was like, oh, we can play with a bit of freedom now. And we can really, really go for it. Nick's just said, we've got Lisa Ben as a ref who's quite yellow card happy. Could be carnage. We'll probably just end up with like 4v4 at the end. Playing rush goalie because everyone's been sent off. I mean, that would make a cracking game though, wouldn't it, if everything just goes wrong?
Or everything goes very, very right.
Yeah. Or, we have 11 versus 3. We just keep going, keep scoring the whole match. Yeah, I think that's the thing. We just need to go out there, give it everything, and just leave nothing behind, and really see it off on a high, and then start to rebuild for the Euros and then for the summer as well, of course.
We still have players like Rachel that are playing for contracts potentially, so there's a few that could be out to prove a point.
Yes. Yeah. Get me out on that pitch. Let me show you what I can do, and let me prove that I can be a good servant to the club. for the next however long. So yeah, that's a good point. Fighting for minutes, fighting for contracts, security for the future. Yeah, absolutely. Right then. And of course we haven't heard about contracts as we mentioned earlier, but as soon as we do, we will update you all on what is happening. And the last thing to mention, on Saturday there is the fan club end of season party. So if anyone fancies it after the match, get yourself to the Assanin. All the fan club are going to be there, and just really see the season out with a bang. So yeah, it's almost bittersweet, isn't it? Because we're looking forward to the end, but then football's gone, gone until the Euros. So yeah.
Well, I have heard that there's karaoke on Saturday, so I've absolutely no doubt somebody's going to stick a microphone in my hand at some stage.
Perfect. I hope there are pictures and videos, please. And
there usually is.
Perfect. So get yourselves down at the Assanin for the fan club end of season party, if you fancy it, on Saturday. Now, has anyone got anything else they would like to mention before we go? No. Very good. No commentary corner? No nothing?
Other than
Natalie Arroyo, that's good. Did you also...
Apparently they bodge her first name but get her second name right, even though her second name
I laughed when the commentator got Ebony and Chastity mixed up and said, Chastity, her second of the afternoon.
Yes.
No, that's Ebony.
Oh, yeah.
That's a different player. Different number on the shirt. Just in case you're unaware.
Different nationality.
Different nationality. Also, look completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just it was an interesting one. So some of these commentators they do make us laugh. But yeah, right, lovely. Well, thank you so much to everyone watching and listening, and getting involved in the chat. That's what we absolutely love. We love getting your opinions and being able to talk.
Actually, one last thing.
Go on then.
Spiller, massive.
Right, this obsession with saying that phrase has come around very, very recently, and it's all anyone ever says.
It's a song at the ground as well, not?
Yeah.
But it does get everybody
stuck in my head.
Everybody joins in.
Well, that's the thing. Hey, if we're that massive and we've got the song, then we're going to sing it.
Absolutely.
It's going to echo around Villa Park, and we're going to make sure it's 5 out of 5 wins, aren't we?
Yes.
Yes. End the season on a high. So once again, thank you.
Unbeaten.
Oh, delay. What was that, Emma?
Or at least unbeaten. We just can't lose.
Or at least unbeaten, yes. Let's have that. Yes, good. A point or the win we'll take, of course. We don't lose anymore. We're Villa, we don't lose. What a nice thing to say. But yeah, you can catch us across all socials, of course. The social tags will be coming up in a moment. And yeah, just thank you so much for watching and listening again. So we'll be back next Thursday for the final episode of the season. So tell your friends, come and join us, and we'll be back. So yeah, thank you. Good evening.